everyone, welcome back to Mature Minded Gamers. I'm Will.
And I'm Brad.
And today we're going to be talking to you about Star Trek Adventures, the RPG from Modiphius Entertainment, a Star Trek role-playing game that, oh my gosh, I was so excited to try this out.
You know, when we stopped at our friendly local game store and we took a look at this, I looked at the artwork on the books and I was sold. I'm going to buy this game, especially for the fact that they had a collector's edition, a regular edition of the core rulebook, and then right next to it was this red, beautiful looking, lore-rich Klingon book that I wanted to buy. I haven't yet, but man, I wanted to dive into this.
Absolutely. I mean, we do a Star Trek podcast. If you guys haven't checked that out, we're going to put a link to one of our videos there, so you can check out our video cast and podcast for that. But, you know, we both love Star Trek.
Absolutely.
I think you're a little bit more of a Star Trek fan than I am, but I love watching it, right? There's so many new series coming out. So when we kind of like eyeballed this and we were looking at the art, and, you know, we knew this has been out for a while.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of content for this game. So we got it home, we tried it out, and it fell flat for me.
Yeah, I'm with Will on this one. I wanted so badly to dive into the Star Trek realm with a good RPG. I wanted to play as somebody on a bridge crew or a lower deck. I wanted to play as somebody on the ship. And this game, just to give you a little bit of a background here, it plays a 2D20 system, which I couldn't wrap my mind around. If you as the watcher, if you've played this game and you see otherwise, please tell me what I'm missing down in the comments, because I want to play in this world really badly. But I didn't see a need for going through and doing a 2D20 system, because the D20 role-playing system is mature. It is good to go and ready. I mean, you could drop that system on top of this lore and be ready to go. So
I think as far as like to what your point is with, you know, being able to play as whatever, the lower deck or the captain or whatever of a starship, I mean, that's all up to the GM. Now, as far as like the actual like first starter mission that, you know, the starter box actually has you go through, it's, I don't know, like maybe it was the maps that it had you on that were very dry and drab. If you're going to get into this game, you really need to invest. I feel like you need to invest in some terrain, and you need to make it, you need to work something out for movement and cover and all this other stuff, because it just was not engaging as much as, like, for example, Dungeons & Dragons 5, right?
Yeah, and the great thing about any tabletop role-playing game is, those of you watching this might know, is that there's an imagination portion of that, where you're kind of imagining where you're playing, you're imagining combat. This one, like you said, is a lot more mini-focused, and being such a rich environment of stuff in Star Trek, you have to have the miniatures. It's not like you can just grab any icon and use that on the table, or any token and use it on the table. Thankfully, the starter kit came with a couple of minis that we could play with, came with some play mats to play with. So it took the imagination part away from us on the starter campaign, and that's okay. That's not my complaint with the game. But like you said, I do feel like that this game is something I'm going to have to invest a whole lot more heavily into, on not just books, but also on components. And that's not what I want out of a tabletop role-playing game.
So I think where the game really fell flat for me was the combat. It was just so boring. It wasn't so, because maybe it's because everybody's firing phasers and guns and whatever, blasters or whatever they're called in Star Trek.
Phasers.
Whatever. So,
or disruptors.
Yeah, so it just was, I don't know, you roll a dice and you hit or not, and I know, so in Dungeons & Dragons, and it's very similar. You roll, did you beat the armor class? Yeah, you hit it.
But there's room for creativity.
Yes! And, you know, it's like, oh, I swing over this table and roll over table and swing I fired my phaser. I hit him. Woo! I don't know. It just was there. And I know you can do melee. Yes, you can come up and then, you know, beat the guy down or whatever, but that's not Star Trek.
No, it's not. And that's the thing. That's the part that I want to talk about, is that Star Trek for me isn't combat. It's not hand-to-hand dueling or combat on starships or doing things like that. And first of all, it's not even just people-based. And maybe there is. Maybe we missed it, but there should be some ship-to-ship combat. There should be some more diplomacy.
I'm sure there is.
There should be.
I guarantee there is.
Well, then if there is, and Modiphius, I just want to put this out there. I love your content. I love your games on this one. I wish that it was more compelling for me to come back to the table with it. So I don't know. Maybe we just got off to a bad start with the starter campaign, but I feel like this is just going to ride my shelf for a bit. I'm still going to buy the books. You're still going to get my money because it says Star Trek on the side, and I'm a completionist, so I'm going to keep buying it. But maybe in another expansion, give me something to look forward to.
So when you were talking about as far as like, you know, starships and stuff like that, we did do a couple of like tests for like skills and stuff like that, like piloting checks and everything.
I can't imagine where piloting is going to be a good time.
I don't know. This game just, maybe it was just the GM that, you know, wasn't so much into the Star Trek lore and didn't know all the Jeffries Tube names and, you know, which buttons to hit to get him out of the first room. I don't know that stuff, and maybe that's the big problem, and I think we need to give this one another shot, which we will.
Oh, yeah.
But first impressions, this is not what I wanted in a Star Trek game. However, with a grain of salt there, because I think we need to try it one more time.
Yeah, I'll give you that. And I'll bring it back to the table, and so maybe we'll post an update to this too. There's lots of other content and lots of other books that we didn't get into. So we just started with the core rulebook, so.
Sure. But first impressions, not for us. But we will try it again, and we'll be back with an update, hopefully eventually. So, all right, everybody, this has been Will.
And Brad.
From Mature Minded Gamers. Be sure to check out all of our other great content on maturemindedgamers.com. We do video games, board games, Star Trek podcasts, and so much more. So be sure to join us even on our Discord. But hit that like and subscribe button so you can be notified when we release a whole bunch of other great content. So until next time, everyone, stay safe and take care.
See ya.